Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today we have a special guest. We have Erin Zimmerman, who is a social media strategist plus a matchmaker, where she helps people attract their right tribe instead of the wrong one, and she's with Elephant Social. So let's give a warm welcome to Erin. So welcome, Erin.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm awesome. It's a great day. You know, anytime you can talk to people, it's awesome.
Yes, I fully agree with that. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, sure, definitely. So tell us a little bit about your background.
So my background is in mainly social media marketing. I worked for a movie theater company for a handful of years before I decided, I can take this off and do it on my own. And so the first half of this year, my business has been social media management. And then I took a bit of a turn in June, and now I am helping people strategize their social media instead of doing it all for them. So it's been a very, very full year for me, and I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary of being in business for myself, and it's just really exciting.
That first year is always so interesting and amazing because there's that moment of, I think it's the bit of just astonishment, excitement, and then there's that feel like I'm doing this on my own. Crap. So
right.
Going through
So
all those
many
emotions.
of them. Yes, ebbs and flows all over the place, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right, exactly. I think that's some of those things that people don't necessarily realize when you go into business for yourself. It's not like, oh, I'm going to have all this free time to do stuff. Well, no, you're doing everything suddenly. So
right.
You have so much more to do. Now, you made that adjustment there to go from not only working for someone else, but then within it, to go from managing people to strategy. Why did you make that switch?
I made that switch because there were a handful of reasons, but overall, I was not happy with what I was doing anymore. So I left my job because I hadn't been happy for a long time. And then I was not a very good boss to myself. And I was trying to work with so many clients and working so many hours. And I realized with social media management, it really is trading dollar for hour because you're doing so much work. And I just wasn't being good to myself. And I'm like, I left my job because it wasn't great for me, and I wanted to create this life that is better for me. And though I know it takes time to create that kind of life, I was not doing that for myself at all. I had let my development of my business slide in order to continue to help my clients. So it was really difficult for me, and I lost touch. And then I went on a business retreat with some now business friends of mine. They were all people I had never met in person before, and they were able to, through being with me for 5 days, they were able to take some of the things that I had said and kind of repeat them back to me, because sometimes you just got to have a differing perspective, though like-minded, to kind of tell you what you need to hear, even though you've been telling yourself that the whole time.
Right, exactly. It's that outside perspective that makes you think, oh, yeah, you're right. Even though it's been in front of your face the whole time, you needed someone else to tell you. And it makes all the difference.
Yes. Right.
Well, so now, after that retreat, then, what made you decide to go into strategy out of all the different choices?
It was almost immediate. So that was in June, and within a week, I had already written out my first group program. I had already set up a new challenge. I had already come up with the idea for my web series, and it was right there. It was, I think, the day that someone told me you need to be working with relationships and social media, not just social media, that's when I was like, you're right. It all clicked. And I thought I need to be strategizing these things with people and really personalizing it. Because from the get-go, I've always been big on personalizing social media strategies with people. But with the clients that I had initially, they were just telling me, just post every day. And unless there's a strategy behind it, you're not getting results. And so I was like, I want to be the person that gets everyone else results and brings ease into their business and life. I don't want to just be posting things into the ether every day for them.
Right, exactly. And you hit something on the head there, that it's more than just posting, because if you look at what a lot of things that people are doing, they're going through the motions, just posting random stuff instead of having purpose behind it.
Yes.
And that makes all the difference. So when you're thinking about posting now, as you moved into strategies, you mentioned that you created your first group program, you created a challenge. What was that first program you created?
It is called the Video Game Changer. And a lot of people initially thought it was for video games. And so, that first round, it was more of a beta test, but I got it out there. I pushed past I need to make this perfect, and I got it out there, and I did it live for 4 weeks, and I'm actually getting ready to go into another round of it soon, and it's been expanded to 6 weeks. There's just so much information to be had, but the reason that I chose video, again, it's another thing where there are many reasons, but the main reason is because in relationship-based social strategy, you are showing your audience and your potential clients who you are. You are sharing your life, not every bit of your life, but you're sharing behind the scenes, and you're just sharing stories and your why. You're constantly sharing your why, and you're constantly sharing what you do. And video is such a powerful tool to do that. And people are scared of video. And so I thought, you know what? And I used to be scared to be on camera. I'm much better behind camera. I love making short films. I love photography. I love everything about it, except I don't like being in front of camera. So I thought, what better way to work through this myself than to run a confidence building group program alongside other people who are scared to do it, but know they need it. And that's what they want to focus on right now.
Right. Oh, definitely. And that, what you did there in terms of taking action, is extremely powerful, because there's so many people that talk about they're going to do this, they're going to do it, and they're trying to make everything perfect instead of just doing it. And what happens, and because it's a beta test, which means things are not always going to go as planned, as I'm sure that there were a couple hiccups along the way, right?
Right. But the thing with that, it really actually worked in well. It wasn't planned, obviously, but it worked in well for my own strategy, because I was able to tell people, this isn't going like I had initially thought, but guess what? I'm switching directions a little bit. Are you along for the ride? And they were totally awesome about my transparency. And I was also able to use some of these lessons in my own social strategy. And so it's a learning experience for everyone, regardless of how you choose to execute your program, one-on-one, group, whatever. All of it is a learning experience. We all have to start somewhere. So why not just start?
Right. Exactly. That's the most important thing, is just start, because everything has a beginning. It doesn't matter what company out there, even let's just use something like Apple. It had a beginning in a garage. So was it this amazing office building? No, it's like, okay, let's move the car out the way so we can work.
Right.
But that's the world that we live in. It's getting things done rather than trying to get them perfect. Mm-hmm. And where it makes a world of a difference there. So then with the group program now, how is that different from your challenge that you created?
I've run many challenges. The challenge that I created that time was actually to lead into my group program. And it was basically a getting started. Let's do a video a day or multiple videos a day. And it was run in my Facebook group, and I put up prompts, and people just created videos because they know it's a safe space to go and practice. And that's the big thing behind the program in general, is that regardless of how you feel about making videos or about anything really, you need to practice. My dad used to tell me growing up, and he'll still give me that look like he's saying it, but he's not. It happens quite often. He used to say repetition, repetition, repetition. And that was, for sports, for studying in school, for all kinds of things. But it's true for everything. The more that you work at it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. Maybe not comfortable, because you don't always want to work within your comfort zone. You don't want to think, oh, I'm not comfortable with this subject, so I'm not going to make a video about it, but more confident. And it's building that confidence. And if you're practicing, especially in a space that is supportive and intimate to a degree, then it makes it easier to practice it there, get feedback, and then move outward from that space.
Right. Oh, definitely. When you build up your confidence, it makes a world of a difference. So you had your Facebook group before you did all of this?
Yes, I had a Facebook group, honestly, since November of last year, but it sat at very low numbers. And the thing is, I've been okay with that. It grew quite a bit during that challenge and into the program, which was great. But at the same time, I realized that I operate very well with a lower number of people, because it is an intimate setting and people do get to know each other. And so they're interacting with one another, whether it's in my group or outside of it, and then still getting the tips and still participating in the challenges. And I know my group members pretty well. I am open to growing more, but it's been really nice to have that group that really has befriended one another, and they know that they can go there for support.
And, you hit something on the head there. It's not about the size necessarily. It's about the quality of the people in it. Because you look at, there's some groups out there where it's only a handful of people that are actively posting, but they're going to be, we're the largest group of blank. But if there's only 50 people ever engaging, how large is it really?
Right. Plus, I like big groups to a degree. I find a lot of fascinating information and fascinating people within them, but I also have a hard time because so much is going in there all the time. And I feel like, and this is another part where I just need to do, but I feel like posting myself would almost not matter, because it's almost like a Twitter feed. It's just rolling and rolling and rolling, and people aren't going to see it, or they've turned off notifications because there's too many notifications. And so it's a fun and exciting and interesting world to navigate. But I know that I've found my little corner with my group, and so I enjoy that. I also like interacting in other groups as well.
Right, definitely. Since we're talking about groups here, and you mentioned that you're the matchmaker, how is it that people should really focus on, let's say they're starting a group and to go beyond, say, spamming other friends? Hey, I'm going to add you to my group. How should people start that process to truly grow it?
I really like, I obviously automatically adding people is not great. You don't want to add your mom and all of your siblings just to get numbers in there and then have them not completely understand what's going on. You want to attract people. And so what I did for mine to start, and what I really like is, yes, I made an announcement to my family and friends, especially since Facebook algorithms change constantly, and family and friends are the thing that they're going to show up before businesses now. And so I just said, hey, I have this group. If you know anyone, send them over. If you want to join, great, come on over. And I don't do that often. But I did start out that way. Then I would go into a couple of groups that allow promotion. That's a big one. And also groups where I interact a lot and have found a lot of people that I want to work with, and let them know. Not all at once. You don't want to shoot this message out within an hour on all platforms and then just stop. Right. Everyone will see it as spammy, and you don't want to do that. So if you're posting, this is another thing for not just groups, but for any post. If you're posting the same post to, say, 3 different groups, make sure you post one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. Just spread it out. And so that's what I would say for groups as well, sharing your groups. Make sure you're sharing to one group a day or something like that. Also, reaching out to people on LinkedIn. If you feel that businesses or business people on LinkedIn are those that you want in your community, let them know. And one other thing, I do get quite a few friend requests from people that I do not know personally, but that are wanting to reach out to make that connection, whether for business or for personal, because they've seen some of my work. And what I've found has worked really well is, as people are asking me, I have a short little hello that I personalize for them. And I say, hey, Tracy, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I really do want to get to know you better. So please, if you'd like to start the conversation, let me know. In the meantime, if you're interested at all in working on your social media presence in an intimate group along with me kind of thing, here's a link to my free Facebook group. And that has been received really well, because no, I'm not pushing the Facebook group. I'm not friending someone just to make the first message, hey, join my Facebook group. It's very much an introduction, especially because these are people that I've never interacted with before. And so I want to start that interaction. I'd love to start that conversation. And if they don't want to join the group, that's A-okay with me. Then we start a conversation, and sometimes it takes off, and we'll take it to Skype or Zoom or something, and we build a connection, a relationship that could maybe one day be business related. But I am really all about making those strong connections and building relationships with social media. So that is a huge one for me. It's taking that initiative to reach out to someone and let them know, hey, this exists if you're interested. Otherwise, I would love to talk with you. Let's connect more.
Now, that in itself, that last tip was really special and important, because you think about the number of people who they've been taught just friend request people to grow their network, and they've never interacted with them. They've never sent a message. But what tends to follow so often is just hey, join my company, join this. There's some pitch there. It's like, oh, no. Instead of like what you just said there, it is a great way, because you think about it. All the people that you get pitched at, that those are people that aren't coming to you. Instead of just saying, oh, yeah, you're yucky, get away from me. Now you have a tool that you can utilize where they can start building that rapport. So if there are people that would, let's say, could become that ideal client over time, well, now you can be able to put them in an environment where they're nurtured, like, ooh, this makes sense. And now it's a warm relationship instead of a cold, I need a shower after a conversation.
Right.
Because that happens on a regular basis.
It does.
And it makes a big difference when you can start engaging with people that way. So then you're doing this to grow your group, and then what are some of those other things that you're doing to grow your tribe? Because obviously you have to post things regularly, but what else are you doing to continuously attract quality people, not just quantity, but quality?
I am very good at the quality and not the quantity. I'll tell you that. I am, at least once a month, I'm running challenges within the group. I have yet to run the same challenge twice, because I really like trying new things and seeing what my people like. I'm also constantly polling my group. So that is a huge thing. Once you have a group, yes, you want to nurture them, but how do you know what they want unless you ask them? So I've had all kinds of ideas, and I've been like, oh my gosh, I have 3 ideas. I don't know what to do right now. Well, go to my group and ask them what they want. And then as I'm posting things in the group, I make sure to say, hey, I'm asking people what they want inside the group right now. Come join the conversation. And I'll post that to my business page, or I'll post it to my personal page and share it to my business page. And I'm also starting to leverage LinkedIn a little more for that, to grow it a little. But one other thing that I really like to do is alongside being consistent, because you do want to be consistent. If you're not, then people will leave your group, or people will stop being engaged in your group, and then it's no longer beneficial for anyone. And for a while, I did kind of stop being within my group, and it wasn't fair to anyone. So I let them know, I'm coming back. I apologize for my hiatus, and I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Let me know what you need. And from there, I have developed a live stream Fridays event where every Friday, I let people know that every Friday in the 12 o'clock hour, I'm going to be on talking about something. And they're able to suggest things and ask questions beforehand. And I make sure, as I'm asking these questions within my group, to let other networks know. This is the question I'm asking this week. Join in the conversation. Hey, this live stream Friday is about this subject. If you're interested, join over here. And it's not a constant join my group, join my group, join my group, but it's more of a be part of this conversation. If this sounds like something that you need to focus on right now, or if this sounds right up your alley or up the alley of anyone or any business you know, join. Like, be a part of this community, because it's not just a funnel for me to then sell my products. And honestly, it hasn't been at all up to this point a funnel. It's been, let's try new things. Let's see what people actually want. And it's actually been great for me as a focusing tool, because I describe my business as a squirrel, probably because I'm kind of a squirrel, because I'm always like, okay, I have this project and this project and this project to work on. What do I focus on first? I don't know. I'll start with this. Oh, crap. I just thought of something I need to do over here. So I move over here, and I'm all over the place. And with ideas, I'm just an ideas person. And so it's great to have this group that can kind of ground me and help me focus on what they need right now and what I can focus on later for them as they grow.
Right. Now, and that's a great idea that you have there with leveraging live streaming, that'd be kind of scary, but live streaming. Like, yes, right. There's a distinct difference between streaming and screaming.
Sometimes.
Right. At least you hope so. But to leverage it in a deliberate manner where now you're setting that expectation, because then if people are creating engagement and they realize that, oh, hey, thanks, Susie Q, for asking this question. You're acknowledging them, which is a great thing. But then because you're providing that value, they're now more likely to share it, which is awesome.
Yes.
And since you started the live stream Fridays, how has that impacted your group in terms of growth?
It's been huge with engagement so far. We're only about a month and a half into live stream Fridays, and I do let them know if I can't make it, because sometimes other things come up, but they expect that I'm going to be there. And so this last Friday actually was the most engaged conversation yet, and it had to do with social media overwhelm and feeling burnt out and therefore not being consistent with posting. And it turned into a 25-minute conversation. And of course, live streams probably feel to the person talking like they're talking to themselves, but people were typing like mad and asking all kinds of questions. And then they were turning it into a planning hour for themselves so that they could just get out there and do it, because so often people's excuse is, I don't have time, when really there's other underlying factors. And so I was like, you know what, if you feel like you don't have time, use this time right now, start writing things down. And then they were sharing with me, and it was really nice. And since then, I have had multiple people come to me and ask about my group, and I'll talk to them about it. But I'm not trying to push it. I'm like, if you're interested, great, here's the link. And I have had a couple of members already say, this would be great for this friend and this friend. All right, invite them. If they want to join, great. If not, then this isn't the time or space for them. And there's always tomorrow, there's always, in 3 months from now, whenever they are ready. So I want people to realize that it's not a group to join, and no group should be this way. No group should be a group to join just to go in, push sales, and leave. It needs to be something that you're interested in interacting within, and helping other people and participating in. And so that's why I keep the groups that I participate in to 5 to 7, and I'm not always consistent in all of them, but people know that they can find me in my group as well.
Okay. And you mentioned something there. you're only in 5 to 7 groups that you're active. Why is that?
Because otherwise it does turn into social media overwhelm. Otherwise, I find myself scrolling through groups for hours a day, and that's not what they are for. They are for personal and professional growth. They are for making connections, for collaborations. They are for sometimes putting your stuff out there to sell, but mostly for attracting people by telling your story or telling the mistake you made that you want to help other people fix. Things like that. It's more of a conversation. And I think a lot of people have lost that and aren't focused on the conversation as much anymore. So I find the way I whittled it down was I was posting similar content into all of these different groups. And some of the groups constantly I wasn't getting any engagement. And I don't want to just post something and run. That's not my idea. I'm asking questions. I'm giving people advice and wanting them to tell me what they did below. And if I wasn't getting any interaction within a couple of weeks, then those are ones that I may still be a part of, but I'm not posting to regularly. So that's how I found my core group of groups. And, it'll change. Things change. You don't have to pick them and then be like, these are mine forever. It's definitely just like your business. Your business will evolve. You will evolve. The groups you are in will evolve. And sometimes it won't be something that necessarily resonates with you anymore. So that's a good thing about being in business for yourself, is being able to choose where you're at and then choose when you can change. You don't have to wait for a Monday to start something new. You can do it right this very second.
Right. Exactly. There's never something that limits you to a specific date and time, that it has to be a Monday, it has to be a Friday. You can decide on when you want to do it. Just be consistent with it.
Right.
So you mentioned that you're running challenges within your group. What type of challenges are you running, and ultimately, what's been the impact with them?
I have run my video challenge. I have run a repurposing with purpose challenge, because again, I feel like people, when they do get the idea of repurposing, then they're like, oh, I can just shoot these things out at random times just to have something to fill up my content or my feed, and I'd rather people choose to repurpose based on goals that they have. And I've run a couple others, but the one that I am about to run is actually about engaging your audience, and it's called Engage. And it's really nice to be able to have people participate within the group. Even if they don't sign up for the challenge, they'll still participate in it inside the group. They're just, not in it for prizes or anything, but they're really just showing up for themselves. And when I run challenges, these are times where I get the most growth within the group. And that's okay with me, because I'm also posting regularly, still regular posts. So it's not just, here's the prompt for today, and then completely forgetting the things that I usually do. I still maintain our regular schedule so that if people don't want to participate, then they don't have to. But then people who are part of the challenge, who have never been inside the group before, are learning how we run on a regular basis and seeing how I interact on a regular basis. I'm not interacting within the group any more when I'm doing a challenge than I would on a regular basis. It's just a little extra content. And honestly, I haven't seen numbers drop whenever I'm running a challenge, because that was one of my fears at first was, hey, if they're not interested in video, then they're just going to drop the group. But I run challenges that are a week long max. So I tell people, please just bear with us. If you want to participate with us, great. And if you don't want to, just kind of ignore these notifications and we'll be back to your regular scheduled programming. But I really see people start to engage more, and the new people will start to answer regular daily prompts and questions and things like that and start to partake in the polls. And then they stay in the group because they see that it is a space for practice and for meeting new people and for collaborating, because that's the kind of space I want to nurture. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I do have goals in having my group. I'm not just growing it just to grow my potential client list by any means. And I think that really stands out. I think that people can tell without me flat out saying, I don't want you to be here just so I can grow my list, because I don't say that.
Right.
But it's something that, yes, do I see growth during challenges? Yes, because I am promoting the group a little more, and it's for something specific that people want to focus on. But then I continue to talk about that and growing from there and other items within the group so that they see what we're like on a regular basis. It never switches on and off from challenge to group work. It steadily is still within the plan.
Okay. So the challenges you're doing, they're hosted 100% inside of the group then, correct?
They are, I've gone back and forth, and what I like to do is I like to email out the prompts in the morning, but I'll also make a short video regarding the prompt inside the group as a reminder. I don't necessarily flat out say what the action item is for the day, but I address it. So it is mostly within the group, but I also want people to sign up for my newsletter or my email list. It's not always just a newsletter. And so, but with that, what I see is people will join for the challenge and then leave afterwards, but they won't leave the group. So that's why the majority of me talking with them is within the group. And a lot of times, like the emails will say, hey, if you missed the conversation yesterday, here's the link to the video that I put up, as well as, or like the best question of the day or something like that. And I let them know what's going on inside the group. I also have an option where people can participate just through email if they don't want to join the group, but that's not usually. I've only had a couple of people take me up on that, but that's still fine with me, because then that's one-on-one interaction that they're getting, and it's guaranteed one-on-one interaction. And so that's something that I'm surprised more people don't take me up on. But I play around with it a little bit because I want people to learn in the best way that they can. So I type things, I do audio, I do video, and I make sure that if email is your main platform, great, you can get this content through email. But if Facebook's your main platform, then join us over here, and we're almost constantly having a conversation around it.
Oh, excellent. And that in itself, when you look at what you've done, that combination is extremely powerful, because you're communicating with people where they're at, which is extremely important, instead of saying that you have to do it this way. What if someone doesn't want to? Well, then
right.
You're kind of out of luck.
Definitely. Well, and it's like I learned pretty quickly within my video course. I was putting out video prompts daily, and they were getting like once a week, they're getting a play sheet with like information and links to tutorials and things like that. But then within the actual group, I was just putting out videos, and I learned pretty quickly. Someone was like, hey, do you mind like summarizing this video in like a short bullet points or something? And then it's like, oh, duh, not everyone wants to watch a video. Even though you want to make videos doesn't mean you want to watch a video.
Right. So
it's just one of those things where I'm working on it still. Like for instance, I'm still transcribing my web series, but I feel like I need to have show notes for every video I make, even if it's just bullet points of like, here's the top 3 things I talk about here.
Right. And ultimately, if you think about it, it's extremely helpful if you have the shortened version that's written down. Because let's say a video is 20 minutes long. Some people don't necessarily want to sit through it, but they value the knowledge you're giving. So if they can look at something that takes them all of like 30 seconds to read, like, oh, okay, I get it. Here's the biggest things. It can entice them to want to watch more of it, because you can prompt them like, here's the main points that we talk about. Because now it's like that movie preview, like, ooh, I want to more. So
right.
You entice them. You have to make them thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the key to it. So it sounds like you're really leveraging groups heavily to build your tribe online.
Yes. But not only groups. I'm spreading out. And that's what everyone else should do too. Don't just use groups because they could disappear tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. Now, and that's an important thing there. It's that you see people, they rely on one source for their whole business. And then if it dries up, like, oh no, now what are we going to do? So what other methods are you utilizing to grow your business right now?
I am really starting to get into LinkedIn, interacting with people. I do message people on LinkedIn, not for an offer. I started out doing that, and I'll tell you my personal experience was, don't do that. So I'd say, hey, it's great to connect with you, and then kind of, ask them, especially if I know them personally, ask them about how they're doing. But then in that same message, I was also saying, hey, I have this offer for, $50 off one of my packages if you guys are interested. No. Don't do that. So when you're on LinkedIn, you want to go in and you want to start the conversation, whether you know the person or not. It's based on the fact that you want to connect with them further. And so in the first message, just ask how they are. And you could even in that first message say, hey, if you guys are interested, I saw that that you may want a little bit of help here, or I have a suggestion for this here. And that happens with me with social media strategy a lot. I'll see other people's social pages and just be like, hey, I saw that you could perform a little better here. Here's my suggestion. How are you doing? Kind of thing. So LinkedIn messages have been great for reaching out to and connecting with people. I also share my videos and my blog posts to LinkedIn as well. I have a YouTube channel. YouTube is huge, guys, because it gets another audience that isn't necessarily on Facebook every day. I do have most of my personal Facebook posts shoot over to Twitter. I don't have a Twitter or an Instagram handle for my business, but it's better for me that way because then people find me on Twitter or Instagram based on my business. That's fine. Then they get to know me as me, and they also see how much my business is a part of my regular life without having the Elephant Social handle. It's not necessary for me, but I do hang out in other places. And in person has become a lot bigger for me, whether it's physically in person or meeting with people over Skype or in Zoom meetings or something. I will meet someone through Instagram. I'll meet them, through these Facebook groups, but reach out. I like to reach out to at least one new person every week to try to connect with them on a personal level without necessarily talking about business, but because business is such a big part of our lives and something we're so passionate about, it does come up. So it's just finding where you enjoy being and going there. It's not always, I always hear people say, you need to go where your tribe is at, where your people are. Where are your potential clients hanging out? And you can do that. That's fine. But a lot of it will probably overlap with places that you like being. So if you absolutely hate or can't figure Twitter out, then don't worry. You don't have to go there. You will find audience members in other areas. You can go to Pinterest. You can hang out on Facebook a little longer. There are so many social platforms to go to and online platforms for that matter. So just keep an open mind, but at the same time, start out small with the ones that you enjoy and then grow from there.
Oh, excellent. And that's extremely important, to spend time where you want to be at, because you hear the people saying you have to be everywhere. Well, yeah. If you think about it, if you spend your day on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, you're creating videos, you're on LinkedIn, and the list goes, then you're on Snapchat. Before you know it, people see you everywhere, but you're not really connecting with people on an authentic basis. And then there's that whole thing about you're not really getting any work done either.
Right.
Because you're just being social the whole day. So you have to create that balance of seeing where people are the most that they're going to most likely respond to you.
Mm-hmm. And
that's one of those key things. So now, what do you think of some of these newer platforms that have come out there? Or let's really focus in on like that big talk right now. You have Snapchat versus Instagram stories. What are your thoughts there?
I enjoy them both, but I tried to use Snapchat personally as for business growth. And I don't know. I feel like that's much more for people that are in my contact list on my phone. Mm-hmm. So for me, if I were to choose one to use, I would do Instagram stories because you already have that following there. Like if you're already established on Instagram, continue to use the stories. But you can also, because they're so short, you could also do the same thing and post a video real quick to Instagram and then post a video real quick to Snapchat. But again, it's where you feel comfortable. So personally, I have said I will share tips and tricks to my Snapchat. And I do every once in a while, but it's much more for me to use the funny filters or something along those lines, like share a throwback song that comes on the radio with my friends. And I will put that to my story. And so that to an extent is much more personal to me. And if other people follow me on Snapchat because they follow me in my business, that's fine too. I'm never going to put anything to my story that is, inappropriate or anything like that, which I don't really use those for anyway. But it's truly it's truly whichever you feel more comfortable with. Yes, Instagram totally is stepping on Snapchat's toes, but there is innovation. There's space to grow within video and elsewhere, and people see that they need to continue to evolve their business plans and their own strategies in order to grow. And so, that's just, I'm not like, oh my gosh, Instagram totally stepped on their toes, so I'm not going to use it. I see that, I see it as, I like the format that they've started with, and I like seeing familiar faces pop up at the top on Instagram, and I click on them and see what's going on. So it's totally up to you, but definitely if you already have a big Instagram following, just continue to grow it.
Right. And, that's so important that you say that, because there's people who want to jump from one platform to the next, and if you don't grow a tribe where you've already established, it's a difficult thing. It's kind of back to that old expression that the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Right.
Because some people think, oh, it's going to be amazing over there, and then it's like cricket. It's like you just left something that was working. Why start over from scratch?
Right. Right. And yes, we need to diversify where we're at, just because some platforms can leave in an instant, but you don't have to diversify so much so that you're on every single platform. You can pick 2 to 3 and start from there. I like starting with one and then growing from there, but that's if you're at the very beginning or if you are wiping the slate clean because you are so overwhelmed.
Right. Exactly. You just have to figure out what's going to work there. So as we're wrapping things up, what is one thing that someone can do today to truly grow their tribe?
One thing they can do today. Oh gosh, I have 2 really good ones. But one thing that they could do.
Let's go for them both.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Thanks. The first one is to share your business every day. So whether that's sharing it in your why post or explaining to your people on your Facebook page or introducing yourself to someone in person and letting them know what you're doing or messaging someone. It can be just one time, but it's got to be every single day. So if you reach out to one person today and then post it to your Facebook tomorrow, great. But let people know what you do. In the last couple of weeks, I've realized that there's not a vast majority. There's a big group of people that don't even know what a strategist is. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I obviously have to be sharing this every single day. So share your business every day. That is huge. Let people know what the heck you're doing. And then my second one would be to use the cover photo, banner photo on your social media platforms to the highest good. So what I mean by that is let people know with those that you've got a free group, click here, even if you have a group, great. Then what I want you to do is on your personal page and on your business page for Facebook. And then if you want to go into Twitter, if you want to go into all those other lovely platforms and change your banner, great. But make a banner, cover photo, same thing, that says, I have this group over here. We do this, this, and this, and it's for these people. So you want to let people know who it's for and what you do there, and then put somewhere on that banner, click here, because you want people to click on the banner. And then in the description, I want you to put join our free group right here and the link to your group. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to join you. And if it's on your personal page, then they know about it. If it's on your business page, then they know about it. It's in front of them, whether you're on desktop or mobile, it's right in front of them when they go to your pages. And so make sure that is right in, it's the best place for you to put any news. You can change your cover photo all the time, but I really like to maintain at least that there's a group going on. So sometimes I'll split it and I'll say, hey, here's what's happening on this episode of my web series on one half, and then click here to join the free group where we're talking about overwhelm this week. Use it.
Oh, excellent. And those are great, powerful tips. So how can people learn more about you and ultimately connect with you?
You will find me on Facebook every single day. So you can find me personally on Facebook. I'm Erin Zimmerman. You can also find me at Elephant Social on Facebook, as well as inside my Facebook group. It's called Be a Social Elephant. And so you should be able to search all of those inside Facebook. You can also find me at www.elephant-social.com. And I'm actually working on a reboot of my website right now. So it's probably a little messy, but you can also, it has all the links to get a hold of me there.
Oh, excellent. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show today, Erin, as you showed some valuable information about leveraging groups to build your tribe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It has been so much fun. I love talking about this stuff, as you can tell, as I just keep going and going.
Oh, definitely. All right. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful day, okay?
Thanks, you too.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.